What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Right here, what I have for you is a 2017 Mazda 3. This one right here, I'm just going to be going over it real quick to look through it. The vehicle was in a small accident. It looks like the customer ran over something in the road and it caused a little bit of damage on the vehicle. As you can see, the wheel on the side, the driver's side wheel was completely, like, it got damaged. I'll show you that in a little bit. All the lower covers got taken out. There is some transmission pan damage, so I'm going to be removing the transmission pan to see if any damage was made to the valve body on the transmission and to the, it's kind of like a filter, a plastic filter underneath the transmission pan that picks up the oil, make sure all that's good under there. So let's get to it. Right here I have the rim, and I just wanted to show it to you right here. As you can see, it hit the rim pretty good right here and actually cracked. It actually cracked the rim on this side. You can see that crack on the rim right here. So we're gonna go ahead and replace this rim right here as well. Alright, so I got the vehicle in the air, and as you can see, whatever she had pretty much took out. Damaged this front lower cover right here. It took out completely the rear kind of lower cover that covers the engine and transmission. Just inspecting for any kind of damages. Oil pan looks good. Right here on the transmission pan, as you can see, has a massive dent in it. I did get some more information from the customer to ask her, did you drive it after all this happened? And she did drive it. So I suspect the transmission is still shifting correctly because she did drive it around for a little bit. And looks like the subframe right here looks fine. Just some scrapes and scratches underneath it. It looks like this little, it's like a subframe kind of crossbar right here. It looks like it has a small dent right here. So the insurance company saw all this. They only deemed it necessary to inspect the transmission, make sure everything inside of here is good, make sure the valve body, there's no damage to it. I suspect there's a oil, not an oil, but a transmission fluid pickup inside of here made of plastic. Those can break easily sometimes or shatter. We'll go ahead and first I'm gonna get this transmission pan removed so I can give a nice inspection. If everything looks good, then I'm just gonna go ahead and replace the pan, and then replace all these lower covers right here, replace that wheel, and then go for a test drive and make sure everything's good. So the first thing we're going to be doing is removing this transmission drain bolt right here. The exact size for that one is an 8mm, kind of an 8mm Allen key. Let's go ahead and get that done first. Alright, so it's pretty much drained out, so let's go ahead and reinstall the plug. To remove the transmission pan, we're going to be removing all these screws right here. These are all 10mm. Just gonna go ahead all the way around the pan and take them off. Don't worry about which order you're taking them off in. And also, once we get everything off, don't worry if you're I'm gonna be replacing this pan right here, so I'm not really worried about damaging this one, taking it off. But if you are gonna be reusing the pan, just be very gentle and pry gently on the corners. You see where you can pry, like right over here. You can pry right here. You can get a good little prying angle right there. Here as well. And that's it. Let's go ahead and get to removing this pan. Alright, so I got all these 10mm screws removed, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and pry a little bit on the corner over here. All right. Alright, so I got the pan off, and what I'm looking for over here is any type of damage, and the only thing that I see that's a little bent out of shape is this little bracket right here. It's kind of a little bracket that just reroutes the electric lines, or the electrical harness underneath here. And here's that pickup tube right here, which is also a filter as well on the inside. That appears to be in good condition. It looks like the damage was all on this side right here. So it looks like we're in pretty good shape. Nothing was really damaged. I don't see any bolts over here out of shape. Everything looks pretty good. Alright, so after removing all the old gasket off, that's what it looks like. You just want to try to remove as much as you can off. So that looks pretty good. Since I already have the oil pan off, I'm actually just going to go ahead and replace the filter as well. So this is like an oil pickup and filter in one. I'll show you on the new one. So here's the oil filter and pickup right here. As you can see right in here, it has a little filter on the inside on the pickup end, and you can see the filter as well on the other end that goes into the transmission. And to remove this oil filter pickup, it's gonna just be two 10mm screws, one right here in the front and one right here on the back. So let's go ahead and remove that and put the new one in. Once you have both those bolts removed, just go ahead and just tug on it downwards. And it should just slide right out, just like that. Alright, so here's the new one. Let's go ahead and install it. Go ahead and reinstall these two 10mm. And I'm not going to use my little electric, my electric tool to tie in these. I'm going to go ahead and tie in these by hand and just snug them up. I don't want to, put them on there so tight. I don't want to damage anything, so I'll be putting them on by hand. Alright, snug it up just a little. So once you snug those up right here, next we're going to go ahead and torque them down, and the torque for these two is going to be 88 inch-pounds. So here I have my little small little torque wrench. That one looks good. Go to the next one. That one's good too. Here's the RTV that we're going to be using. It's a Mazda gray. This is what I always use when I'm doing these gaskets, either on the transmission pan or the oil pan. And also all the transmission pan bolts underneath, these are also going to be 88 inch-pounds. But as you can see right here, it's going to be 88 inch-pounds. The pattern's going to be, you're going to go ahead and tie in all the corners first. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the fifth one you're going to go to the one after the first one, and you're going to do the same exact thing. So this is number 1, this is number 5, this is number 2, this is number 6, this is number 3, this is number 7. This is number 4 and this is number 8. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and pretty much just like that. So here's our new transmission pan. Here it is. And how I'm going to be installing the RTV is I'm going to be going around the edge right here, and then I'm going to be going on the inside, and I'm going to go on the outside as well of each bolt hole. So as you can see, the bolt holes are actually raised up on the highest part. I'm going to be putting silicone on all of this, all the way around. So on the Mazda tip on the tube, you're going to see that it has some steps on it. We're going to go ahead and cut it off at this this step right here. Just like that. Here I have an old tube I'm going to be using. I just don't want to let it go to waste. And here's the new one. And in the packet, you're gonna get like this small little tool that you're gonna put on here, and that tool's gonna go on the bottom, and that's how you're gonna be able to slowly squeeze the RTV out of the tube, just so you can make a nice even bead around the transmission pan. I'm gonna start on this corner right here. Okay, we'll go ahead and give it one last pass with the little dechlorinated brake cleaner. Make sure that all the surfaces are dry before we go ahead and install that transmission pan. Alright, so here's the pan. We're going to go ahead and install it. Try to line it up as best as you can. Looks pretty good over here. I'm going to go ahead and put one of these in by hand on one side, and on the opposite end go ahead and install the other. Alright, pan's up there. And next what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to install each and every one of these just by hand. So with just kind of like with a socket and an extension, as you see what I'm doing, just go ahead and install each and every one by hand. Alright, so they're all tightened just by hand right now. Once you tighten everything down just by hand, you're going to wait an hour. And once what you're doing is you're just waiting for the RTV to just harden just a little bit. And then once it hardens a little, then we'll go ahead and give it that final torque of 88 inch-pounds. Alright, so an hour has gone by, so now I'm just going to go ahead and torque them all down in that order that I showed you guys before. Start over here on this one. camera literally died right as I was getting to the last one. So I went ahead and did that while I was, after I swapped the battery, I went ahead and did that. So once you got all of them tightened down in that order, just go through each and every single one of them just one more time to make sure you got them all. Alright, once you went ahead and gave it that one last pass, now we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and let it sit overnight for 24 hours for it to cure, and then I'll come back in the morning, I'll go ahead and fill it up, and then I'll see you guys back here in the morning. Alright, so it's the next day. I honestly literally waited 24 hours for this. So as you can see, everything looks real good. It's a nice good bead all the way around it. It's all hardened up, and now we're just gonna go ahead and fill it. The first initial fill is like 8.3 quarts, but just doing the drain from the pan and refilling the pan is just gonna be 3.5 quarts. Right up in here, there's gonna be the transmission dipstick, and that's where we're gonna be filling it from. So one more thing I kind of want to show you. It's gonna be a 10mm to get the dipstick off. Okay, come on. Okay, so once you got that 10mm loose, let's go ahead and pull the dipstick up and down. And then one thing I want to show you on the dipstick is right on there you're going to see 2 letters. It might say something else, but if you need to know what kind of transmission fluid, especially Mazda transmission fluid your vehicle needs, just look on the dipstick on the side right there, and it's going to say, this one says FZ. So this is the transmission fluid we're going to be using, and as you can see, transmission fluid type FZ, and we're going to be doing 3.5 quarts of these. So to fill up the transmission, this is what I'm going to be using right here. It's just a little pump that I'm going to go ahead and screw onto this port right here on the top, and then it's just pretty much, you just pump it up and down, and it's going to pump the fluid into the transmission. And once I go ahead, I'm going to start with just 3 quarts. I'm going to go ahead and just pump 3 in there, and then I'm going to check the level. If the level looks good, I'll go ahead and drive it around the lot or drive it on the street, circle through the gears manually, and then come back here and check it again and make sure, and if it does need a little bit more, I'll just add a little bit more. I'm going to be using this pump right here to add fluid, but you don't need to have a pump. All you need to, you could go from the top side with a little thin funnel and add through the top, and I'll show you how to do that as well. Alright, so I'm going to show you an alternate way to add transmission fluid if you don't have one of those little siphons that you can add from that angle down there, or one of those little pumps that I used to add from the bottom. So to access the top of the transmission, all you're going to need to do is remove this PCV hose right there. We're going to take out these 2 10mm right here that hold the front of the airbox down. Go ahead and remove this hose clamp right here that's holding the airbox in. It's a 7mm. Alright, so we got that loose. Now let's go ahead and disconnect the MAF sensor right here. And we'll undo this clip right here that's holding the harness of the MAF sensor to the airbox. Alright, so I got that undone. Let's put it to the side. Then you're just going to go ahead and pull that hose off the throttle body and just lift up the whole airbox out. Alright, once you have the airbox out, right here you'll have a straight shot. Pull that 10mm out, 10mm bolt out, and here's the dipstick. And if you can't fill it from the bottom like I did with that little pump, you could fill it from the top with the with a small funnel. All right, so I got 3 in there right now, so let's go ahead and check the level, the dipstick. All right, so as you can see right there, it's right on the low line, right there at the 50C line. So I'm gonna go ahead and add just that half quart more. It does say it takes 3.5. and I just added 3, so I'm gonna add that half a quart more, and then it should be okay. Then I'm gonna go ahead and test drive it after that, and then after the test drive I'll recheck it again and just make sure it's in between this line. Now before I go for my drive, I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall the new wheel, because as I showed you before, the original wheel that was on the car actually had some pretty good damage on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a new tire on a new rim, and then reinstall that rim install that rim on the car. All right, wheel is on. Let's go ahead. All right, so the wheel is on. Let's go ahead and get it back on the ground. All right, so I haven't put the covers back on it yet. So what I want to do is I want to test drive it with the fluid that's in it right now. Bring it back in, put it up in the air, make sure there's no leaks on it, make sure the pan is sealed good, and then I'll check the dipstick on the transmission one more time, make sure if it's in the middle, we're good to go. If it needs a little bit more, I'll just add a little bit more. So all right, I'm back from the test drive, and honestly, the vehicle shifted perfectly. There were no missed shifts, there was no instance where I felt hesitation or any kind of slippage. Everything was awesome. The vehicle drove really well. So now I'm just gonna get it back in the air one more time, check the dipstick, make sure it's in between those two lines. If it's not, I'll add a little bit more. If it is, then we're good. Then I'll go ahead and install the bottom plates as well, and get this car out of here. All right, as you can see right there, it actually did suck it down quite a bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some more just until I get it in between these lines, and we're gonna be good after that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest of this one right here. I'm gonna go ahead and top it off. As you can see, that is perfect. right there, just a little over half. So I'm just gonna leave it how it is right here. Just 4 quarts. Okay, so here's our lower cover for the front. Let's go on ahead and install that one first. This piece hasn't came in yet, and we're just waiting for it, but that's pretty much it. I'm pretty much done with the job. All I need to do is replace this piece right here, and I honestly thought we had it. So. All right, so besides not having this cover right here to finish the job and just be done with it, I'll probably be here sometime tomorrow, but that's pretty much it. The job is pretty much 95% done. So that's it, guys. That's a quick tutorial of me just showing you how to reseal your transmission pan, and if you wanted to you know, replace that that pickup filter, that little plastic filter that's inside of it at the bottom. And that's it. If you guys found the video helpful, if you liked it, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.